Daf Yom Yerushalmi, and the old articles edition. They're doing Daf Yud, Amud Aleph. We didn't start the Mishnah yet. It didn't start Gemara yet. We started the Gemara. Anatina, in the Vilna, that is right at the top of Vav Amud Aleph. So Vav here, on the top of Vav Amud Aleph in the elementary, still 11. Anyway, he said me. Anatina, we learned in our Mishnah. Sheyesh ba, there is within it. These tani, they're those who learn shenafal l'seicha, that it fell into it. Amar Adnana, man de Amar sheyesh ba echad ve'esrim be'arba. What he said there is in it is 1/24. Holds the ratio is 1/24. The command Amar Nafal, Shanafa Socha, the being was holds that it fell into it, holds that it's 1/25. Moshe explains. I'm by Manoha, the Hani Tati, Nuske, Pli Ledina. The Zim's not lost. The man Mashiyeshbo, Masho, but also Sayeshbo, Rova Minacher. That's why there's a Rova of a different species. Min Echad, sorry. Then a Kol Havisoa. Altogether, that's a saw. So there's 23-1. That's 1/24. In Kenashir Echad Me'esrim Ba'arba Chav Gimel Ravai means Evarova Acher mean Echad mean Acher, right? Chav Dal Shnafel Socha Masha Sheish Kan Ser Shlema Nafel Socha Rova Echad mean Acher. That's I skipped. Wrong. Chav Gimel Ravai means Evarova Echad mean Acher. That's the one. 23-1. Mana Shnafel Socha. It fell into Mashiach Kan Ser Shlema. It sounds like it's already a full saw there. Nafal Socha Rova Echad Mimin Acher. Then if Rova fell in, they better call Chafes Revayim. So altogether it's 25. Right? Amar Rabbi Yossi Reibun. Bein Kamador Sheish Ba. Bein Kamador Marish Nafal Socha Echad Misimar. But no, it's only a machlokas in semantics, not machlokas in ratio. The ratio according to everybody is 1/24. Maikadun. What's the upshot of this? Manamar sheyesh ba, the manamar holds it's that it has within it the tosh. It's when it's disconnected from that. Manamar shafal socha b'mechubar. Manamar says that it is when it fell into it. It is when it's connected. And we're on the side of the Gemara. Many difficult interpretations were said about this. We will go with the mashbiach. Shagamu dachuk, which is also dachuk. Okay, betosh is leading maso mekachum memkar. Tosh means in terms of commerce. But mechubar le'inyan kilayim, in terms of mechubar, it has to do with kilayim. So sheyesh ba. Again, is going on commerce. The Shnafal Socha is going on Kilayim in the ground. So now the Gemara is going to ask on both of them. Manakam, Imis Kabin Lizera, if you have in mind deliberately to plant Kilayim, I feel Chita Achas Osir. You're not allowed to put even one seed of another type inside. Bima Arev, and if you're going to mix it together, it sounds like not for planting, but for Mekachum Memkar, for commercial activities. Also, if you go to also Arev, you're still not allowed to mix anything in anyway. Or Rabbi Yaakov Racham Shem Rav said, "Aborer Tzoros we talk Kerios Shechavero." So this is if I come and I'm kind of like try to be a nice guy, I come and I take all the stones out of your wheat, because it's evidently in the wheat. Some stones get mixed in. But if I did that, I diminish the volume, and when the owner wants to sell, he's going to have to sell less because it's lower volume. So therefore, I have to give him chitim ayus. I have to give him a good grain in lieu of the stones which I took away. So it says it's also rate. This teaches us that you're not allowed to mix. In other words, mix it back in. Put the stones back in. So obviously not allowed to mix. Otherwise, you can put the stones back in. Okay. So that's what Gemara says here. If you say it's allowed to mix it back, mix in. So then, why don't you give nice chitim? Just as I said, put the stones back. Now here, according to Mashbiach, you have to put in from later on, which is in the Vilna edition, which I'm looking at right now. It's it's the bottom. It says Elish Shinis Arvu Derech Machnas. In the Article edition, it's Mamish at the bottom of the oven, on the Yud base, the last line of the oven. So you have to say that this Arva Derech Machnas means that Machnas, he says, is like, we have a term Machnash in the Beidore, the piles in the threshing grounds, that they got mixed up at the time when they were making the piles, and then that's how they got mixed up, because otherwise you're not allowed to mix it up. So it has to happen on its own. When it happens on its own, it would happen on its own on the threshing floor. Now, Maglo Chitim Yafos, you found, somebody sold you grain, on the assumption that it was great stuff. It was fine grain. The Nimtzu Beruros, the Mashbiach changes it, it says it should be Tzuros. That's pebbles in it. I said since we're stones, pebbles is a better translation. So if I say I'm telling you Chitim Yafos, can there be pebbles in it? I say Chitim Yafos ammunition means no pebbles. So again, Machlo Chitim Yafos need to Tzuros. Mashakalo the may also rova, they have to deduct from the price of that rova of Tzuros, which I don't have to diminish because it's a rova, but I said Chitim Yafos, so maybe that's no good. Milad Rabbanan mean Einam Nakalo the may also rova. So it seems like the main rova we learned before shows that you don't have to pay for it. In other words, that the buyer accepts. Even the person says the seller says Chitim Yafos, he accepts a 1/24th of Minacher. What does it tell us? This somebody removes the pebbles out of his friend's wheat. That's Chitim Yafos. Obviously, the implication is, if I sell Chitim Yafos, I can sell them with up to rova Toros. And that's why if the other guy removes the pebbles, I'm not allowed to put pebbles back in, I have to put Chitim Yafos back in. But if I said L'chatchila as Chitim Yafos, I could have up to a rova of pebbles. And the Chita is top grade Chita. So Yafos refers more to the grain. To the grade. Refers actually to the grade. Okay, so fine. Next Gemara. Bir rova echad umechza. You took out a rova and a half. Mal shinakalo demei also you hear the Rashville, the Gra, the Kanievsky, change it to Mal shinakalo demei also shinakalo demei also chati rova. So does he have to does the buyer have to take off the price of that half rova? So what's it talking about here? We're talking about a third party who took away the sifted his friend's flour, and on the rova, the third party has to pay. It definitely has to pay. The second is on the additional half rova. So the Magamah says Menaka says that he doesn't have to pay for it. Whereas the mandamar that mandamar, I wrote the same thing here. Let's see the second one I wrote. 1 second. So anyway, there was a rova and a half. So the more than a rova there, that has to be taken off because regardless, because now that you have some more than a rova, right? So this third party did this, right? There was rova mechsa, and which the third party took out. So that half more than a rova that the mocher would have to remove himself, so that you didn't cause a loss because that was above the limit. So does the third party have to pay for taking out that additional half or not? So the first opinion is China says you're menaker. You only pay for the rova kav, up to the rova kav. The third party, has to pay to make it the yofos, but not for the rova itself. I'm sorry, he pays for the rova itself and not for the additional half rova. The other opinion, you don't take off anything. You have to pay for the third party's rate for the full rova and a half. The Domalay says to him, Ili Yavtun Li, the seller says, were you not to take it away? Literally, will you give it to me? And I would have wrapped them in a bag, so they're not visible. And I would say to this buyer that Madav Zuna Chami Hu Zavan. So I'm not sure exactly to translate this. He says that I say to the buyer that there are more pebbles than a rova, and it's possible it would be makbid, and he would pay the value of wheat because the many people are not makbid. Okay, so that's the shot. The Rash Sibilio points out that this argues in the Bavli and Basra. Bavli Basra says that once you start being mevarer, you have to be mevarer everything. So you can't stop at a rova. You can't stop and leave over anything. You have to take out all the whatever is even when you get to under 1/24th, you have to continue taking out. Either that's a din or a knas, but it's not obviously Yerushalmi holds not that way now. Yerushalmi holds that the chatzi you could theoretically leave the chatzi in now, and the question is whether you the buyer the third party has to pay on account that I removed it and causing a loss or not. So the first opinion says causing a loss, so therefore you have to pay for it. Second opinion holds no, doesn't have to pay for this chatzi roba because the other way around. Sorry. China says menakelo, he doesn't have to pay for the extra half because the extra half would have to have been removed in any event since it's above the shear of a rova. And the Ramana says no, you have to pay for that extra half because the seller could say, there's a possibility that it goes sold in this closed package. You wouldn't have checked, and therefore I would have. Even if I told him, and therefore that's the cause of the loss of that potential not being makbid. So that is actually the end of that shaklavitaria. Again, according to Shviach, we took out this last slide previously, and so we will leave. The next slide's off, which is Daf Aleph.